Welcome to my new series on this channel, Secrets of the Long Island Railroad. This video will mainly introduce you to the history of how the railroad came to be, and what's going on with it today. The company was formed in 1834 to provide service from New York to Boston via a ferry from Greenpoint to Stonington. However, 16 years later, this service would end, and the Long Island Railroad instead focused its efforts on serving Long Island. It came into competition with other railroad companies who also sought to gain traffic throughout the island as well. So, during the 1870s, LIRR President Austin Corbin started to buy out all of the railroads and amalgamated them into one complete railway system. Most of these railroads would eventually become the branches of the Long Island Railroad that we know today, such as the Port Washington Branch or the Hempstead Branch. However, not everything that was bought out still exists today, but that's a video for another time. Unfortunately for the company, it became unprofitable, and so the Pennsylvania Railroad began supporting the Long Island Railroad in return for direct access to Manhattan. The subsidization of the Long Island Railroad allowed it to expand and modernize, with electrification beginning in 1905. But after the Second World War, the Pennsylvania Railroad could no longer give support, and so the state of New York began subsidizing the Long Island Railroad instead until the Metropolitan Commuter Transportation Authority was formed in 1965, and the railroad was placed under its control. Then, in 1968, the MCTA was renamed to the MTA, the company that is most familiar to us. It was also during this time when the MTA began incorporating other transit agencies like the New York City subway. To this day, the Long Island Railroad is one of the few railroad companies that has managed to survive from its formation to the present day, and has also managed to avoid being bought out by other rival companies as well. So, what new things are happening to it today, and what can we see of it? Well, first of all, there's a brand new project taking place in Queens and Manhattan right now called the East Side Access, which will take trains to the Grand Central Terminal. This $11 billion project will reduce the commute by 40 minutes and will serve approximately 162,000 passengers per day. Although it won't be fully open to the public by the end of 2022, you can actually see the tunnel portals the tracks will take to head under the East River. At the Sunnyside train yard, which is where the tracks will split off from the main line, the entrances into the tunnels are pretty much almost complete. But I have a feeling that a majority of passengers pass by them on their daily commute and don't even realize it's even there. Anyways, is there anything else that is new to the LIRR? Well, yes. The Moynihan Train Hall at Penn Station was opened earlier this year, and so far, it's the closest we've ever gotten to the original terminal building. The train hall is taking the place of a post office, and some of it still exists just to the side of the station. Also, there's a new class of Long Island Railroad trains, the M9, which began service in September of 2019. Many more trains are being rolled out right now. The cars themselves have new screen displays telling which car you're in. They also have outlets as well. The design of the front face of the car resembles the M8 on the Metro North. There's one more secret I want to mention. At Forest Hills and Kew Gardens, the platforms have been extended to allow 6 cars to fit them. But at Forest Hills, there's just more than its extended platforms I find interesting. If you go to the south entrance on the eastbound platforms, you can look out into the station square from above. This is the exact spot where former President Theodore Roosevelt made a speech in 1917. It was here at Forest Hills Station. The station itself was opened back in 1906, and you can tell that's a pretty old station from its architecture. Also, there's this unused passageway that takes you over to the other buildings directly from the platform here in the square. Forest Hills Station is a small and relatively quiet station, and you should check it out one day. So that was my introductory video to Secrets of the Long Island Railroad. For each video I do for the series, I will be exploring an abandoned branch of the Long Island Railroad, so make sure to subscribe and like this video for more.